Yo, 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 yo. It's another edition of the Weekend Rhyme. I'm here at a location that will remain nameless. It's your boy Ron. That's Leroy Green. What's good, brother?
I'm good. What's good, my brother? Hey, the samurai. This is only for the samurais tonight.
It's
Tap
only
good, my
it's,
brother.
it's only for the samurais tonight, man. Part of it's about to be the 4th of July weekend right now, so I'm kind of on a vacation mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm on vacation mode. Got Samurai on screen, but it's a good show, man. It's been a good week, man. How was the week, man? A lot has happened since Wednesday's show, man. Wednesday's show was great. Mike D held it down with the list. I thought it was a very he missed on a few things. I think it was a little bit too Biggie heavy. I don't think Renegade should have made the list, but I'm pinching mitts here. I think overall the list was quality. He's gonna come back with a top 25 album list coming soon. But it was a cool list. It was a cool list. The debate was Thursday night. A lot of people reacted about that. We co-sponsored a debate party, a watch party in the city of Atlanta with our Black family in politics, and I keep it classic. My guy, IL Cleveland's own. That was dope. A lot of people had some comments about that. And then, man, we had LeBron James' son got drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers. Man, a historic moment. First father and son duo in the NBA will play together. A lot of people had some comments about that. So it's been an interesting week that happened throughout the since Wednesday, man. So what's on your mind today, brother? What you want to start off with? We got a special guest host tonight named Servan. He wrote an article for us about how Wale was slept on back in the day. He may be filling in for me sometimes on the weekend rounds. We want to introduce him to the people in a minute. But Leroy, what's on your mind tonight, brother?
Man, like you said, like the LeBron thing, I was listening to the Shaquille O'Neal, the Shaquille O'Neal featuring Jeezy, Nas, Tariq. You know what I mean? That's old school, but it brought me back, man. But that's a topic. I follow basketball. I see what's going on. You know what I mean? But y'all let me know, man. But other than that, I got notes on the bars. Tonight I got Lupe, I got Boldy James, I got Crooked Eye, I got Dr. Dre. When we talk about Dr. Dre, right? We were talking about production, whether he gets credit he deserves and whatnot. Marsha Ambrosia's new album Casablanca with Dr. Dre, production team or not, the music is beautiful. So I have a question tonight, and I have a question throughout. This is different than everyone else. We're going to differentiate, differentiate the differences between me and everybody else. But Dr. Dre, because you're a rapper, do you only have to make rap music, or can you make other music? That's the question for tonight. So everybody, like I said, when I come on this weekend, man, we're trying to find the new element for hip hop, right? So because you're a rapper or a hip hop producer, shout out to Conductor and his work on the Boldy James project. Can you make rap music and other forms of rap music as well? Because again, Marsha Ambrosia, the Casablanca, it's beautiful. The way Tunisia Nights, the sample from New York State of Mind, Nas, Illmatic, how she flipped that almost brought me to tears, my brother, because the music is that powerful. And tonight we're going to talk about the samurai and Amy Winehouse, the tortured artists, the samurai, ones who feel the music. You hear the music and you also feel the music. I'm talking to the samurais, the ones that feel the music beyond just the lyricism, even though I'm dealing with possibly one of the greatest lyricism, or not even possibly, one of the greatest lyricists ever in the Lupe Fiasco. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Can y'all hear me? Am I talking? What's up, my brother? I'm talking to myself.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah. What's up, my G?
What's good?
I'm talking about what I was listening to this weekend, right? Lupe, Boldy James, Dr. Dre, Shaquille O'Neal, Crooked Eye. And I want to hold on. I'm going to let you talk, my brother, but I want to call Crooked Eye not just a rapper, but a speech pathologist. What is a speech pathologist? That is one that helps people get over their severe stutter, their speech impediments. Maybe they have a lisp. Maybe they have their anxiousness in speaking gives them speech impediment. Crooked Eye, his lyrics have been used to cure speech impediments, including extreme stuttering. So when we articulate these rhymes, I want to look for the good in these styles. You know what I mean? Because they can be used to help people. This is about more than money. I represent the element of hip hop that's about more than money. And numbers and money is great. Money is great. But there is a calling that is above money that I would like to speak to tonight.
No
So,
doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
I'm Leroy Green. You know what I mean?
No doubt, brother. No doubt, brother. Let me tee my man up. Shervon, man, what's good, man? He's a contributor. He wrote a good article for our website back in the day. Well, not even back in the day, a couple months ago regarding Wale, about how he was underrated in his generation. What's up, brother? Where you from? Introduce yourself to the people, man.
Good. My name is Savon. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. You know, I'm a hip hop purist, man. But I'm one of those last '90s babies that get it from both sides, man. I can understand the music of today and still know the music from before. So that's where I'm at. And I've been listening to some stuff as of lately. So I got some takes. You know, it's good to be here with y'all.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's tee it up, brother. So Leroy and Shervon, y'all cook for a second, man. So Shervon, you've been listening to some albums this weekend. I think you listened to the Marsha Ambrosia, Dr. Dre. What was your thoughts on that?
I love it. Musically is there, production is there. Dre never misses. It's good to hear Dre produce a full album. I mean, it's been longly anticipated to see what he's going to do in music. It's been rumored that for years he was going to do an album, for years that he was going to come back into the game. And we've seen previews of it back when he did Compton and some release tracks from the Grand Theft Auto soundtrack and all that stuff that he was doing online. And then there's rumor that he's going to do the Missionary album with him and Snoop coming back together. But this Marsha album sonically is great. I love it because it just feels like a jam session. It feels like him and Marsha just locking in there and they're having fun and they're experimenting and working through the music. It's you hearing jazz with throwback R&B with heavy hip hop samples. NY State of Mind. I mean, you hear Mary J. Real Love. You know, there's some joints on there that if you really listen to it, Dre was in his sample bag per usual. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think Dre gets a lot of credit for his sampling. Everybody would like to always throw Kanye in there or whatnot, but if we listen to old Dre from G-Funk, from Doggy Style to The Chronic and, you know, all that stuff, it's always those funk or old school influences. And to see that he brings it up to date, but still keeping that jazz, melodic, R&B, hip hop feel with it, with Marsha just going in there and just doing what she always do and has delivered. I could appreciate it, man. It sounds different from any other R&B I hear right now. I like the R&B world right now. I mean, I don't think R&B gets a lot of love right now. I love R&B. It doesn't get I feel like the concert goers support those R&B artists, but I feel like the push to the mainstream is not there. You really come across a lot of R&B on these satellite radio stations, but not really terrestrial radio right now. And I feel like you have to kind of seek out those artists if you really want to listen to them, because there's a lot of dope talent out there as far as R&B. But I really love this Marsha album.
Yeah, no doubt. Leroy, cook up with Shervon real quick, man. Y'all chop it up about this album.
Casablanca, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful, and you know, it really, you know, like I said, it almost brought a tear to my eye. Like it's that beautiful. So, you know, that it's a thing. Somebody mentioned Nipsey in the chat. I was raised around Silicon Valley, so hip hop and tech, the bridge between the two. I believe we should pick up the torch for that for Nipsey Hussle, right? But Marsha Ambrosia, beautiful album. Like I said, Dr. Dre. Sometimes you just listen to the speakers, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. My dilemma is this. Y'all know that I shout out to Common. I had Common as top 5 in my personal 5. So okay. I respect everyone else's personal 5, right? I'm just talking about mine. So I would never shit on anyone else's 5, right? So between 6 and 10, I have a dilemma between who should I pick. So that's between, and y'all can write this down or whatever, Lupe, Ghost, Snoop, Busta, and Black Thought. I put Snoop in there for a reason, and we're going to talk about the musicality of Marsha Ambrosia. I put Snoop in for a reason because we're talking about lyrical genius. Why is Snoop Dogg a lyrical genius, a lyricist, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because if you go 1, 2, 3 into the 4, Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up. What you did percussion wise is you said ba da 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 da. So that is lyricism also, without using the content or the words. The fact that your wording percussion wise is da 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 da. You that is lyricism. So I want to give respect tonight to Lupe Fiasco and also a Marsha Ambrosia, because again, just because you're a rapper, does that mean you have to make rap music, or can you make all the musics?
Well,
I'm asking.
Before you say something, Sir Vaughn, real quick, I see OJ Weston in the chat say I'm tripping. What am I tripping about? I ain't even say nothing. I've been gone for like 5 minutes, man, checking on my kids, man. Hit me in the chat. What am I tripping about? Go ahead, Sir Vaughn Cook.
So I agree with you actually, because and Dre has proven it in the past. I know a lot of people like to stick Dre in the hip hop bag, but a lot of people got to realize that Dre was a DJ, world class wrecking crew, and then you see what he did with Miss LA, and then the list goes on from there. But Dre has proven that he's musically inclined, because this is not his first time working with an R&B artist. He has worked with Mary J. Blige in the past. He's worked with people that are well known in R&B outside of just the hip hop world. So I think he's a lot of, in the game established as being a well-versed, probably one of the best producers of all time. If we're going to put that out there. But the thing is about him is I feel like he does his best work when he's in the studio, locking in with the artist and catching the vibe and really being there. And we don't see that much in music no more. You've heard artists do interviews. You've heard producers do interviews when they're saying, hey, we're sending beats back and forth. We're not in the studio at this time. When you listen to the Marsha album, if you listen to any produced Dre record, you could see how the chemistry is there between him and the artist and how it just flows. Even with the words, if you've really been in the studio with an artist and seeing them work, and you see the producer working with them, say it this way, I think you should do it this way, or whatever. Like, it comes across in the music and it conveys. And so what you said about Snoop, I put him in my top 10 as well, because with Snoop, people could debate all they want about how lyrical he is or whatever, but that you're an artist when you use your voice as an instrument. And Snoop has a flow that cannot be replicated by nobody. He has a flow that can't be replicated by nobody. By far, probably the most famous rapper of all time right now. He's probably the most famous rapper. And the fact that he's able to know how to get on the track and use his voice as an instrument says a lot. I listened to the last the new Dog Pound album. He didn't have a lot of verses, but he's on every song. And the fact that he could insert his voice to where it's supposed to be, where it's not too much and it's not too little, to be able to constructively use your voice as an instrument is a tool of his own that a lot of artists don't have in their repertoire. I'm
glad you recognize that, and but not a lot of people, we all recognize that, right? We're just speaking on it now, but we all hear that, you know what I mean? So that tonight is what I want to speak to, besides just because we're going to talk about Lupe, but we all know Lupe is a lyrical samurai. We know that, you know what I mean? So I don't have to keep going over that. I'm just going to talk about the scatting or the riding the percussion of the, when you're writing the rhyme, you hear the beat. It has a piano, a guitar, some horns, some strings, the kick, the snare. So you're dancing around those instruments with the words to create a rhythmic pattern within the words. So I'm going to use that as the argument to why Lupe is top 10 in my particular top 10. It's not just the content, a lyrical miracle. It's the dancing around the instrumentation. And also, lyrics that we don't understand, right? We love Supreme Clientele. We don't have to understand every bar of Supreme Clientele, but we still love it, right? Because we're just vibing. We're vibing with the music. So a jazz album from Lupe Fiasco is what this is. And I want to give a rest in peace to Amy Winehouse when he refers to her as the beehive. You know, her hair was in a beehive. You know what I mean? So I want to say rest in peace to her, because when I speak tonight, it really has to do with a Joan of Arc of music, or a Miss Mural of music, or her referring to herself as a samurai, the tortured artist, one that puts music above money, and you could hear it in their delivery, like a Marsha Ambrosia.
So tell me about it, Leroy. Kind of let the audience know a little bit about, because I heard Headband. I haven't had a chance to dig into the Lupe project. I will this weekend, probably tomorrow. We had condolences to my wife, to our family. We had a lot. One of our matriarchs has departed. Her grandmother transitioned this weekend, so I've been trying to catch up on the music. So I've been kind of behind. But what was the inspiration of this album, Samurai? I know it has some Amy Winehouse influences. What was and before you go, let me get to the super chat and you can cook on that. So Juice Falco says, in a few years, I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick uses Lupe's concept idea. You know, I don't know. I don't know about that. That could be Juice Falco. You might have a point. He may do that, but speak more to this concept album. I heard Headband #1. I thought Lupe he was in his pocket from a delivery standpoint. Like he was flowing, right? It wasn't, you know, some people saw a lyrical miracle, but I think he was doing some lyrical acrobats on the joint, right? And he was spitting in a way that I never heard him. I heard him spit like that before, but it was more of an aggression. It was a smooth aggression in his flow on Headband #1. So tell us about the inspiration behind the album for folks that may not know about it.
Okay, so the inspiration behind the album, right? Amy Winehouse left a voice message for Salam Remy saying that she was in a zone where she was writing battle raps, and she referred to herself as a samurai. And she was saying, anybody that wanted, I got these battle raps. So Lupe took that idea as to pay tribute to her style. Again, Lupe is saying, I'm a samurai, right? And this is for the samurais out there. So Amy Winehouse had a particular style. She delivers her singing in a certain way. She colors inside the lines, but also outside the lines. So Lupe took that style and saying, I'm Amy Winehouse, the samurai. So personification, taking a person and filtering your rhymes through that person to make a body of work. So that's the concept, right? And I think when we listen to albums, right, I wanted to hear Lupe just destroy rappers and bring back the cool. And I'm SLR Lupe, right? But is it about what I want, or is it about what the artist wants? The artist wants to deliver his battle raps, samurai raps, through Amy Winehouse, right? I'll call her Miss Mural for this show, right? So that's the concept. So all the rhymes come through the doorway of that concept. We clear? All right.
I got you. Savant, would you get a chance to check out the Lupe project?
Bits and pieces. From what I heard from the Lupe album, I'm not a big Lupe fan. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. And it's not a knock to his artistry, or it's just like I like Lupe when he's like this, when he's like in his bag and he's not forcing the music and he's not thinking too hard into it. And it kind of, I like that he did pick a theme to really go off with this, because I feel like whenever it's a theme or a concept that kind of makes sense, he kind of knows how to formulate around that more so than just getting on there. And it's like, you could tell when it's just like sonically just not there, and all the thoughts is discombobulated when it comes to his music sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's off and on sometimes, but he really never misses when it comes to concepts with his music. And I didn't get all the way through it. I know it's a short project, but from what I heard so far, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It's not the. I don't listen to him all the time, but it's something that I feel like he definitely sat back and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get back to the art of it more so than trying to force it or try to get a major point across." I mean, there's a point there, but it's not forced.
No, it's a point there, and if I can I'll try to break the album down in 5 minutes. If that is when y'all want me to break the album down, I'll try to do it in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So
Break it down. Break it down. You already cooking. You already teed it up, Leroy. Go ahead and break it down. Don't leave him. Don't leave him in suspense. Right. I'm on the edge of my seat with the breakdown of the samurai.
No doubt. Okay, so the samurai through the filter of Amy Winehouse, right? So I asked the question at the beginning, because you're a rapper, do you only have to make rap music? And I asked that question because Lupe is on his 9th album. This is Samurai, but he has 12 albums really, because if I count the Rhyming Ape, Japanese Cartoon, and Friend of the People, that's also a mashup album, a punk rock album, and a EDM album. So when we were giving respect to the foundation of the culture, right, the hip hop that we all grew up on, we're always going to respect that no matter what. So we're just building up from that. So you have different genres of music. This is a jazz album. This Samurai is a jazz album because, again, he's going to battle rap you up, but he's using Amy Winehouse as the muse. So Amy Winehouse has a particular delivery. This is why I mentioned Snoop Dogg at the beginning with his da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da and all that stuff, right? So when you listen tomorrow, when y'all put on Samurai, right? You're cleaning the house. You might smoke one. You might, you make yourself some breakfast. You're chilling. When the music comes on, when mumble rap comes on, dance to the music. Don't just say you're going to dance. Get up and really dance to it so you can loosen up, right? Now, mumble rap. So all the words don't make sense, but he's feeling the music is the point of that, right? It's lyricism, but it's feeling over the lyricism. Because a lot of times when they give the Lupe Fiascos, the lyrical miracles, is that they don't include the feeling. This is why I'm calling it a jazz album, right? So if you just don't worry about the words. We all know Lupe is good with the words. So just worry about the feeling, right? So that's what I call this episode Samurai, the art of war. The art of war, right? In samurai culture, they're doing battle with armored soldiers, other samurais. So your pen is your sword. When you swing your sword, it has to be accurate. Again, if I'm battling other samurai that are armored from head to toe, meaning they got on a helmet, shoulder pads, chest protection, stomach protection. When I swing my sword, it has to be precise and it has to be deep. I can't just swing my sword. Okay, samurai battle, right? 100 samurais fighting each other. When you kill a samurai, you have to cut deep so he's bleeding as he's still striking. So these aren't just frivolous pen strokes. Every pen stroke is substantial. Is why Lupe is Lupe. So again, it's like a samurai sword. It's the life and death in the pen. What you can do with the pen. So I call this the art of war. Lupe is he's the resurrection of the third verse. Every song got a third verse. When's the last time y'all been heard the resurrection of the third verse as an MC? My God, what you got to say about that?
So I could appreciate it long if it doesn't feel like it's for sake of expanding the record. You know what I'm saying? Like I could appreciate the new school of the two verses and outs and a bridge or hooked afterwards, or just letting that ride, just because the attention span of listeners now is just not there. I feel like people that are Lupe music lovers are on the side of hip hop purists that can appreciate that, but it may fall on deaf ears to the newer audience, and he would probably think so as well, but he doesn't make music for them as well. Yeah. But for the newer audience, I could see how the newer hip hop listeners, I could see how, getting through a song that is quick and it hits, it gives you what you need. And, the constant feed of music is always there, but it's like with a three verse thing, you don't even really hear that on radio no more. And it's not that it's bad. I can appreciate a third verse, but I want them all to be fire. Don't give me one verse of fire, one that's okay, and then another one is just like it's for the sake of just having one. So I could appreciate it. But one thing I could say about Lupe as well, though, even though like he's always been highly regarded as a storyteller, there is times where Lupe could lose you in the messages. And I could tell you firsthand that it's kind of interesting that he used Amy Winehouse as a muse, especially today in hip hop. I mean, I know in the hip hop and the R&B world, people love Amy Winehouse, but in 2024, I find it to be very interesting that that's who he picks to use as a muse in his music. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like when I hear Lupe talk outside of the music and then I hear the music, it kind of makes me wonder, where does his mind go when it comes into investing and putting into these projects? Because that's something left field I didn't see coming, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of makes me wonder, like, why did you go to using Amy Winehouse as your muse in 2024?
Right. Leroy, before you cook on that, let me get the super chat. Ill Magic with the super chat says Lupe production prowess perfectly complements his lyrical dexterity, making for an unforgettable listening experience. What say you, Leroy?
That's what I'm saying. That comment right there is exactly what I'm saying. So when we talk about what is good music, we're talking about the lyrics in relation to the music. So in that middle ground, Lupe is extremely great at his music. And let's run it down, right? We have Fahrenheit 9/11, Revenge of the Nerd, A Rhyming Ape, Food and Liquor, The Cool, Lasers, Food and Liquor 2, Tetsuo in Youth, Drogas Light, Drogas Waves, Drill Music in Zion, and now Samurai. So this guy has a discography that is one of the best discographies. So I just want to run that down. But again, style is important. On the album Mumble Rap, anthropomorphization of an object. So he says his hand is a gun, his arm is the clip. Smith and Wesson as the lips. Well, this the kiss of death. You got to swallow fire. So this is you know what I mean? This is a level of writing that justifies what I'm saying. And we're going to get into Palaces in a second. Palace is a beautiful song. And I want to invite people that aren't into the super lyrical stuff to venture off into it. Because again, I don't have to use literary devices. I don't have to use storytelling. I don't have to use conceptual writing. I don't have to use deep content. I could use just the bouncing off the instrumentation with Lupe Fiasco. He's just bouncing off the music. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him a samurai.
I have this question for you, though, because I see that you love Lupe, but I have this question. Out of all those Lupe albums, how many of them can you close your eyes and just envision what he's talking about?
All of them.
You really see it. And the reason why I asked that is because with a person that tells stories and paints these pictures in the way that you described it, when I listen to the music, I feel like I should be able to close my eyes and envision the picture that he's painting. That's the way I feel when I listen to Nas Illmatic. I can envision myself being in New York at that time and what he's talking about. When I listen to Kendrick, Good Kid, Mad City, I can envision being in that space. When you listen to a Lupe album, can you tell me an album that gives you that same feeling that you can close your eyes and envision the art that he's painting? Because I mean, I'll be honest, I could appreciate his storytelling. I think Food and Liquor is a great album. I really do. I think it should get more credit for how good of an album that was. But like I said, he lost me in a lot of the later music. And I just want to know, for you as being a Lupe fan, what album can you say you can close your eyes and envision the picture he's trying to paint?
No, that's a good question. And Food and Liquor, he comes in riding a skateboard past the food and liquors. Those are the liquor stores. The food is what's good for you. The liquor is what's bad for you. So this presents a duality. I relate to the duality. You have Food and Liquor. You have the cool song itself. You know, you have My Cool Young History, the streets being a woman, the game being a demon of sorts, and Michael being someone who came back to life from the dead. Lasers, all black everything. So you're seeing the perspective of what if the white people were black and the black people were white and there was never any racism? So meaning, what if there was never a race problem? How would we look at life, right? He also has Unforgivable Youth on that. So all his albums, Double Burger with Cheese, he takes all the classic hood movies and paints one story. American Terrorist, he says, I hate you so much. The hate it really means love. So a bunch of those words in American Terrorist are reversed because remember, he's talking on the phone with the FBI listening. So he's reversing the words. So that's one thing. Like Dinosaurs from the House Project, Dinosaurs, again, I want this music to be able to expand the brain power of the youth. So a song like Dinosaurs from Dinosaurs from House, or Shoes, or Schemes from the Pyramid. I mean, from that EP, or Everything Touches Me in a Certain Way, and it's just because of the writing. But this time he wasn't leaning on the writing; he was leaning on the delivery.
Superstar was vivid. I know it was a kind of not a pop hit, but it was a hit. It got a lot of radio play. But Superstar, he painted a picture about the game that was vivid, that people could kind of capture, and kind of felt them. It was effortless too. When the way he delivered Superstar, he kind of got into this pocket and kind of delivered it in a way where you saw the picture of the game and the traps of being a superstar. Let me get to Illmatic Super Chat real quick. Illmatic says Lupe Fiasco, now Emperor, demonstrates his lyrical prowess by combining 5 songs into one, resulting in shorter but powerful albums. I respect that, Illmatic.
Lupe is a teacher at MIT. So he's not just a samurai, but he reaches back to teaches these techniques. Some of the students are friends of mine, TRP, Chilla Jones. They're students that, he gives these jewels to. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to let you keep going, but I'm going to get into the songs on the album. Just Palaces, Bigfoot, Number One Headband, Outside, and Till Eternity. And then that's it. So I got like 5 or 6 more songs just to do, and I can do it real quick, but go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't get too much deep with Samurai. I'll go put my ear to it. It wasn't one of those ones I was checking for. It was one of those ones I came across. I was like, I'll listen to it when I get around to it. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't excited to hear what Lupe has to say right now. And that's just me being totally honest with you with the state of hip hop right now. I just want to hear great music. And I spent my time being able to go into the clubs. I haven't been into the clubs in a long time. I was in the clubs last weekend, Friday and Saturday, and I'm like, damn, there's no club bangers. Damn, we don't have a summer single. We're still riding off Not Like Us. Like,
right. It's crazy. It's Ron, let the audience get to know you a little bit, man. You down in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
And it's your first time kind of live and direct on the Weekend Rhyme on our platform, on these pods. Tell us what kind for Leroy, before you cook up and finalize your review on Lupe, because we want to make sure you complete that thought. Yeah. Tell us about what kind of music that inspired you in this journey called hip hop. What kind of fueled you? I know you in the clubs. You say you're not hearing no bangers. What's some of the summer bangers you remember? What's some of the music that you like? Some of the albums that you go to from time to time?
So I had the ability to be able to live on both coasts. I lived in Seattle till I was like 8 or 9. I came up listening to a lot of West Coast music, but I also listened to a lot of down south music. All my people's from here, from Jacksonville. I was born in Florida. So when I grew up, the music I was listening to was like, you could hear one day I'm listening to Tupac, and the next day I'm probably listening to the 69 Boys. So it's like, you never know. I grew up with the luxury of being able to have no music from all coasts, southern region, East Coast, West Coast. I gave love to anything that sound good, and then when I got older, I started being able to read into the lyrics a little bit more and appreciate them and, appreciate the artist. My favorite artist is Jay. Jay-Z is always going to be my favorite number one artist for many reasons. And then when I take it to my college days, I went to FAMU. When I was at FAMU, it was the birth of the new age of rappers, the Wale, the J. Cole, the Drake. Drake was already kind of bubbling before him, but we got Take Care when I was in college. We got that beginning Drake music when I was in college. We got Kendrick when I was in college. And then between being able to appreciate those lyricists, we also got the club stuff. We got the Roscoe Dash. We got the Waka Flocka. We got that all that music that contributed to the club culture. So it was a great time to be able to be there. I was there to see what the reaction is going to be when Amigos first dropped. Just to see the reaction of when Future dropped. I was there for that early stuff and knowing how people gravitate towards it and how you have the other side of people that could appreciate the Coles and the Kendricks or whatnot. So being able to have that duality as far as knowing both sides and appreciating both is something I feel is a luxury. Because some people like to stick into, hey, this is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear none of that West Coast stuff. I don't want to hear none of that New York, East Coast stuff. I don't want to hear that Midwest stuff. I grew up appreciating all of it. There's not an artist from each region that I can't say I haven't listened to that is solidified in the game. You know, I've been able to appreciate that. One day, my feeling may feel like, man, I want to listen to Do or Die and Twister, you know, Pope Pimp, or I want to listen to UGK, or I want to listen to Jay a lot. I always will listen to Jay, or I'll go back and revisit some Pac albums. I revisited Dog Pound before I listened to this last Dog Pound album, the new one. I love that new Dog Pound album because it sounds like the old school Dog Pound, and I can appreciate all that. So my journey within music is I've always been appreciative of just good music, and I feel like with hip hop right now, we kind of got away with making good music. People are sometimes overthinking it, and the worst part is some people are just not releasing new music at all. So out of millions of artists we have now, and that we only get a great album every so and so, you know, whatever is a tragedy for hip hop listeners, and it may be good for the casual fan that may pop in when there's a beef happening or if there's a quarrel of some sort. But like artists need to get back to just focusing on making good music, you know. But I can see on the flip side why it's not a big of interest to certain artists, because we also know the money issues with that and the streaming, and that's a whole nother conversation. So we can see how some artists will take their focuses to business outside of music. But that's what artists really need to do now. Give me some music I could really like and appreciate and love, and I'm not getting that. I'm not really getting that as much as I should right now.
Right. And Leroy, before you go, there's some music that's coming out. I mean, the OGs are starting to come together to assemble. You know, you got Nas and Primo in the lab making an album. LL Cool J and Cool Tip got an album coming out. Hey, 4 for 4. A lot of folks in the thread on the other shows saying I was caping for my guy Pete Rock, but they're 4 for 4 right now. You know, the Idea joint just came out on Friday. That's another dope record. So they had Trying, they had Wise Up, they had Dreaming, and they had the new joint, you know, the Idea record, you know what I'm saying? So Common and Pete Rock are 4 for 4. I think they may have album of the year. But you're right, man, Siobhan, because they had a lot of the females kind of came in the game, you know, starting with Nicki Minaj, really. I mean, that wave of female MCs, they kind of followed her mold. And you got Cardi B, then you had Meg Thee Stallion, you got your Lottos, you got your Glorillaz, now you got your Scarlips, and now you got your Ice Spices now. So those females kind of held the clubs down for about a period of 15 years. And even want to throw Drake in the categories. You had Drake holding down the clubs, you had Migos. So you know, to your point, there's not a lot of music that's really permeating in the clubs. You know, I'm a little bit too older than you, so I ain't been in the clubs like that. But I can imagine it's
I don't
still
frequent often.
I can imagine
every once in a while thing.
I can imagine Future still holding it down. And you got Gunna, then you had Thug. But right now, the OGs, you know what I'm saying, like LL and Common, and like again, I think Common and Pete Rock will have the album of the year. They're 4 for 4, and the music that they're making is effortless. It's not like they're trying, you know, sometimes older artists kind of try to get stuck in a time warp and try to reinvent, you know, an old sound. This sounds like an old sound. And he said this on Drink Champs. It's contemporary, but nostalgic at the same time. And I think, you know, Common is rapping at a very high level. Even Pete Rock's verse. Pete Rock got the weekend rhyme. You know, every week we're going to give somebody, you know, just a little bar. Some soul brother number uno, black from the future, make beats on the table. If I break my computer, keep your top 5. I'm God's favorite producer. Pete Rock, low-key can rhyme. Man, a lot of people are saying, you know, Pete can't spit, but Pete can rap. Pete can rap. He got off on that song. And Common did a good job as well. But I think Common is something that's coming out of Common, like looking at B and how he hooked up with Kanye during that era of B and Finding Forever. I think you're seeing something out of Common that's inspired. He's inspired to make good music. So I think there's some good music coming. I think we might probably go to some lounges, or I might take my old ass to a lounge, not the club, and get some different pockets. You know what I mean?
It just sometimes I could play music in the house through Alexa or through my phone, through speakers, whatever, and I'm just like, sometimes I need to go and listen to it in my car. I need to go listen into an open setting and see how people are responding to it. Like when I was in Birmingham last year, and they they made me I wouldn't say a fan, but they made me a believer of Sexy Red. The only reason I could say that, I'm not a great fan of her music, but I could see how the club responds to it, how the women respond to it, and it gets you back into the mode of, man, I'm in the club and women are back dancing again. You know, I mean, I may not have to be a fan of her music. I'm not listening to this in my car. I'm not bumping it in my headphones, but go to the club and I see the baddest of the women dancing to it. I can appreciate that, man. I don't want to see a whole bunch of dudes in there acting tough. I want to see women dancing, you know, so I could appreciate that. But with everything in hip hop, it seems to always be a balance. There's always been club music. There's always been backpack rappers. There's always been the most lyrical stuff, but we need that balance, you know.
That is the point tonight, is balance. And the balance is being able to differentiate the differences in music, right? Of the art of war, duality, light and dark. But we're going to get into it. But yeah, Pete Rock is a phenomenal rapper. Soul Survivor, phenomenal album. Common, I think he's just doing Common. Like, you are who you are. So it don't matter when the music comes on. You are who you are. If you just be who you are, that in itself makes you unique, right? So he's doing what he's always done. Common is being the same Common that has always been Common, and it's a samurai. Common is also a lyrical samurai. So Pete Rock is a samurai production-wise. On the beats, he's a samurai. So, you know, they're doing it. The album of the talk, the album of the year talk, I put that talk out there. Right.
And, you know, I like that. I like when Common links up with Pete Rock. I really do. Common is one of those artists that you can always appreciate him when he's in his bag, because it's just pure hip hop. It's pure hip hop. One of my favorite songs is from Common, "The Light." You know, that's one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time. "The Light" is great, but Common is one of those people that's going to benefit the same way Nas did from linking up with one producer and locking in and doing an album. I think a lot of OGs get back with those producers and just make magic, man. We've seen Nas; he hasn't missed since he started working with who's it, Hit Boy, and he hasn't missed. And so I think some of these OGs getting back in the game and finding that producer where they can really lock in on really gets their sound out to where it needs to be right now. And so I could appreciate it.
A lot of folks, and Leroy, we're gonna finalize your review real quick, but let me just touch on this. A lot of folks talking about London in the chat. I was in London. It might be different because I think this is before like the grime and the drill scene kind of took over. This is back in 2021, I think. They were playing a lot of old ass music in the club. They were playing like 90s, like Maya and Nelly and shit like that. Maybe I was in the wrong spot. I probably was in a crazy club or whatever, but it was a regular club. But I mean, they were playing like Maya, they were playing like Nelly, they were playing like old Jeezy and like Little Wayne, but they weren't playing none of that Pop Smoke, and I don't know. I was probably in a lame club, but I digress. But Leroy, go ahead and finish your review of Lupe.
It's all good. So Luke, when I tap into this album, first I ask myself, is this the album that I made for me, or is this the album Lupe made for me? Lupe is making the album with a jazz aesthetic, speaking as a samurai through Amy Winehouse. The track opens up. We heard Samurai, the title track. We spoke about it. Cake. We heard Cake. We spoke about it. Phenomenal lyricism, hook, dope, everything. So Palaces. When we spoke about mumble rap, right? So Palaces, beautiful song. The song was so beautiful to me. The gorgeousness of this song and the lyrics grabbed me in a way that I have not felt in a long time. By verse one, I could say could challenge Pete Rock and Common's new song lyrically. But in the hook, he says, "Our body." You've heard the term, "the body's a temple," right? So he says, "We're made of stone, palaces of flesh and bone." That's such a profound bar. It's beautiful if you understand what he's saying. Your body has a design from head to toe to feet. Your feet, calves, thighs, stomach, chest, upper body, and head. It has a structure. A palace has a structure as well. That's a beautiful hook. He said, so he said, this, you know, you got, if you want a forest, first you got to water some plants. So again, normally he says, if you want a forest, you got to water some plants. Normally ignoring a branch is par for the course, but when you hold in a culture, you can't. So this speaks to the tortured artist and why I appreciate this. He says, you do whatever for the chorus demands. So our choruses, we repeat our choruses over and over. They create a reality. If we have choruses that say that we are the best at our ability, we are phoenixes of our talents, we are the most talented, we have the most abundance, our lyrics live forever. If those are our hooks, then that will become reality because we keep chanting it. He says, I slash my wrist with a poem. So again, my ink is the blood. This is for artists who live and die by their lyrics and live and die by their music. I relate to that. For the artists that there was only the front row, only the front row, the only row, the show sold nothing. So for the artist, the show sold nothing, and you still did the show because you slash your wrist with these poems. So the last line on Palaces, he says, lyrics or die. So lyrics is or die is profound to me. Number one headband, Afro Samurai. We all know Afro Samurai wants the number one headband, right? So dance to that. That's all. I'm not going to ask you to get too deep in that. Dance to that. Bigfoot, right? He says, so in this song, this is why I think the artist has to be studied so we can differentiate the words between someone who's just saying anything and someone who's structuring their lyrics away. So he says, you know, a piece of my heart, rest in peace for the art. So he's giving his life for the art. Again, we're talking about the tortured artist, Amy Winehouse. She's given her life. A lot of her songs is because she was in relationships that left her heart broken. So her words have a particular edge on top of the delivery because it's pain in her music. And when I say pain, I want to say pain, because in one song he says pain. So we're dancing through the pain. Her staccato, her delivery, it's her dancing through the pain, but it's personal for her. That's why he's the samurai in this album, right? So he says, a single portrait to successfully record it. It would help if y'all were more supportive. So again, these portraits in just a song, when someone gives you a song, they're giving you a portrait. We've reduced the art to numbers and money. Oh, your art is this good based upon how much money you made in the 6th month. So we're reducing the art to the money. It is beyond just the money. When I was in the class with Crooked Eye, there's a student that he stopped drinking because Crooked Eye stopped drinking. So this is beyond music. I already spoke to you why I called Crooked Eye a language pathologist, but we have to go beyond the music. Lupe's lyricism, it breaks the pattern of the dictionary, what it defines as meaning. So it goes beyond just that. Outside, the song, and I only got 2 songs left, y'all. 2 songs left. That's it. Outside, it speaks to the battlefield of an artist, right? When you have a samurai sword, your pen is like, it influences life and death. So if I'm a gangster rapper and I'm going to these different cities, I'm going outside. So that's the battlefield of an artist. I'm also doing battle as an artist, which could be seppuku. A seppuku is a samurai who kills himself. But again, it could be looked at as one way, but if you're a samurai and you're losing a battle and the enemy is approaching, one may kill himself, right? Because let's say you get captured, then you're going to get tortured. So you don't want to get tortured, right? So he kills himself. So this is artistic seppuku. Again, his business is connected to his ethics. So that means when an artist wants his money, they're giving their life for this money. So it's like they should get that. Now, the last point I'm going to make is the wordplay. I told you about the delivery and the jazz aesthetic. But then there's the wordplay, where we all know Lupe. He says, Jerry, very perturbed. You got to be kidding. So perturbed, purr, kitten. He says, Oxford, my ox foot at my harvest. So Oxford or harvest, Harvard. So there are double meanings under the surface of the lyrics. So once we get past the music, everybody go back tomorrow and listen to it twice. One for the music and one for the lyricism. And that's what makes him the samurai. So I want to give tribute to Amy Winehouse for her artistic endeavors and her soul in her music as a Joan of Arc of jazz, and I want to give that same respect to Lupe as one of the greatest lyricists ever to come in hip hop. And that's it. Samurai.
No doubt. That was a comprehensive and very
Yes.
thorough review. Make sure in the chat you hit like and subscribe. Also, let us know what you think about the Lupe. If we got the source scale, is it? We know it ain't one mic. We know it ain't two. We know it ain't three because Lupe don't get down like that. Is it 3.5, 4, 4.5, or 5? And it probably is not 5, because I ain't too many 5 mic albums rolling out there. You know what I'm saying? So what is it? I say from what I heard, my initial thought, I would say 4.25. I would say 4.25. 4.25.
That's fire.
4.25.
Yeah.
4.25.
Lupe is free now. So when you're on a label that doesn't really support you because you didn't sign a 360, so they pull your promo, that's another story. But Lupe is free now. So he's creating music that he feels. So it doesn't have to meet a quota. So we judge it as such.
I would be remiss if I didn't, and I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get a chance to dig into this album. Pause. Yeah. Megan Thee Stallion released the album over the weekend. I heard she has a diss to Nicki Minaj. Did any of you guys check it out?
Yeah, I peeped more than half of the album just for the sake of just listening to new music. I wasn't checking for Meg either, but I was interested into what she was going to talk about after all the controversy. She kind of hinted at it with the song Hiss, which is the first song on the album, when she put that out. And then there was another one before that. And I just kind of feel like she's getting a lot of stuff off her chest. She's, she's venting. But the surprising thing for me is I didn't know she was dropping an album until yesterday. And I guess it's just because she's doing this independently for this album. When I go and I look in streaming, I look at what is this released under. It says like Hot Girl Productions or something. So I believe it was independent. So the biggest promotion for her, I feel, is her being on tour right now with Glow. It could have made more noise like her other projects as far as singles. I remember when she first dropped, you heard her song everywhere. The radio was playing it over and over and all that stuff. So like I said, the tour is the best promotion for her. But it just seemed like she's getting a lot of stuff off her chest on here. I was really intrigued when I was looking at the track list and I seen a UGK feature or I seen a Big Crit feature. I was like, okay, I want to see what their voices sound like contrasting. Hearing her voice with an old Pimp C verse or hearing her voice in contrast to Big Crit. So I like the features that she has on there, but I'm gonna be honest, a lot of Meg stuff sounds redundant, man. A lot of the flows sound redundant, and I get it. If that's her style, that's her wave, that's whatever, cool. But I feel like the production was there. I just feel like with that type of production, switch up the flow sometimes. I feel like I do appreciate that she actually had something to say this time, to a certain extent with addressing, Nicki or light shots she threw in other ways with other female rappers or even the media or stories that's out about her, professing that she's bisexual. That's another talk that I'm seeing on the internet that people are, that's new news to everybody. So I feel like she's getting a lot of stuff off her chest. She's being honest in the music, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if her bag is making a complete album. It's a fairly lengthy album for her as well. It's 18 songs. And I don't know. She should have kept it short and sweet. I mean, 10 to 12 would have did great for her if they were all bangers. So I don't know. I still not getting her in the album bag. There's a reason why Cardi's anticipated. She gave us a hell of a first album that it's so much anticipated with her features and the singles she puts out that everybody's waiting to hear what's coming from Cardi album wise. But when I listen to Meg, I'm like, damn, man. Maybe you should just stick to kind of giving us singles because that's why I feel like that's your biggest bag is being able to give us those anthems and those singles for the clubs to listen to a full project of hers kind of it runs exhausting on the ears a little bit. Not because it's bad, it's just like, damn, it's like it's hearing the same song over and over to me.
Right.
You know?
Formulaic. It's formulaic.
It's formulaic, and right. And I think from a female perspective, Rhapsody already showed that she's an album of the year contention, and she's kind of got that lane kind of carved out on her own right now from a lyrical perspective and from an album making perspective. Rhapsody has it kind of on lock. Then you got I'm hearing rumblings that MC Light's about to come back outside and drop something.
I'm interested.
So we're looking forward to that. I think she got inspired by the Common and Pete Rock work, and I hear MC Light's about to cook up something.
Yeah.
Who else is out there? I'm really looking forward to Lotto. I think Lotto out of all the female MCs, I know Glow rapping right now. I know what's my girls? Ice Spice got Y2K coming out. I know she's coming out. But as far as like that has the whole package that can do the get the girls in the club going and can rap, and I think it has the ability to make a dope album. I'm looking forward to what Lotto has next, and that's just me. I think she can carve out our lane. I think if her next album is anything above 4 mics, I think Lotto will be in a lane by herself, and that's just me.
I like Lotto, but who I feel is who's going to be the female underdog that's going to make a lot of noise, and she's kind of bubbling right now, is JT. I'm looking to see what a full JT album is going to sound like. I feel like she has a lot to prove as a solo artist, coming off her being in a duo group with the City Girls. I feel like she has what the streets want as far as her sound, as far as still giving people that raw authenticity, as far as her rapping ability. I feel like a project from her is something I want to check for, because I feel like she's one of the female artists that really do and really can have it in lock with the streets. We see it from her performing at the small clubs and venues to her kind of building it up. And it's kind of similar to, it's funny that she put Jeezy as a feature, because we see her come up similar to how Jeezy was doing things in the clubs and wise. We see these clubs, they're packed. They're coming out to see JT. You know, to see her rise as a solo artist is something that I feel is something to watch. And I think she has a lot to offer as far as what it's going to sound like for an authentic female rapper who's really from that. There's not a lot of female rappers that's really from that. They may portray that, but I feel like JT's from that. So I'm really willing to hear what she has to say on a full project, more so than a single.
And she got off on that song with Jeezy, and Jeezy got off too. Jeezy was in his snowman bag on that. You know, he kind of took it back. He kind of took it back a few years and was in his snowman bag. I liked the song. They had a really good dynamic. I was hoping that Jeezy would have another verse on the joint, but I think they got off, and I think the song's gonna be really well received. And JT got off as well. So yeah. And to your point, she actually does live that, and she has some clever bars on there, and Jeezy has some dope bars. I think this could be something that you might hear out and about. If I go out tonight in Atlanta, I'll probably hear that record, for sure. But I think
Jeezy on there, because when I first heard that song, I was saying, this sounds like an old Trap or Die record. The production of it, so right. It was perfect. When I seen that she was featuring Jeezy, I was like, okay, no brainer. It makes sense.
Pusha T got a new one too. Pusha T dropped something new too, under the radar.
No doubt.
That's new news to me. I gotta check.
Matt Max in the super chat said Lotto has the whole package. Ron, Lotto ain't it. I disagree, Mad Max. I think she has the whole package, and she just does. I don't want any more arguments about it. Next, Mad Max in the super chat says, I like JT, but she ain't either. It's just Glow.
I'm gonna go Marsha Ambrosia right now for the music. You know what I mean? Lotto's cool. Lotto looks like my son's mom, but Lotto's cool. But I'm gonna go Marsha Ambrosia. But I was listening to the Boldy James with Conductor. Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem. I was listening to Conductor and Boldy James, and Boldy James, also a samurai. I think lyrically, he's very dope. You know what I mean? So I was on the Lupe and the Boldy James. So all the Conductor heads, y'all been asking for Conductor. I went in Conductor today, so he got the album with Boldy James. Boldy James is very descriptive, very metaphoric. Very, again, a metaphor is using one thing to describe another. So when he says, just little stuff, y'all ratted, we never bit the cheese. Just little stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like lyrically, I pulled the sword from the stone. Y'all never be king. you know, those are bars, you know, and Boldy James, he's barring up. So I can appreciate that. Conductor came with it too. And he got jazz elements and soul in the music, and it was good to hear. So I listened to the Boldy James, the Lupe, and the Marsha Ambrosia. And I had a good Friday and Saturday. Man. I had a good Friday.
Yeah.
No,
I checked out the Meg and I checked out the Marsha and I checked out
Yeah.
you know, I'm still on the Dog Pound album.
Yep.
I checked out some singles that's bubbling underground. I'm really looking forward to what Roddy Ricch and DJ Mustard is gonna do in their projects. So those are the next ones I'm kind of looking forward to.
no doubt, no doubt. And hey, if y'all didn't hear it, I don't know if the audience knows, we had a Drake sighting over the weekend. Drake is back outside. Drake came out with 2 songs on Camila Cabello's album. He's on a song called Hot Uptown. He's on a song called Ugly. He's on 2 records. I checked the records out. They sound Drake. He's in his pop bag. And yeah, he's doing songs with Camila Cabello. So I don't know. So he's making new music. He's not tapped out. You know, he's
Stop making music. People are like, oh, he lost the battle with Kendrick. It's not like you're gonna stop making music because you lost the battle. Relax, y'all. You know what I mean?
I mean, the fact that people think that Drake is done musically sounds stupid. I wasn't on Drake's side in the beef. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was on Kendrick. I said Kendrick was gonna win from the beginning. A lot of people, me and my best friend, we went back and forth of it. He loves Drake. I could appreciate Drake's artistry, his early music. I feel like he has a way of pacifying his base and giving them what they want, you know. And then I have to give him credit for being able to be consistent with holding, you know, the Summers down, or holding the club down, or holding the radio down. I mean, he can make hits with no effort, so he's not going anywhere. The hype overall might have died a little bit, but his core audience is it goes way beyond hip hop, man. He's not going nowhere.
I hadn't done the knowledge on this. I don't know much about Homegirl other than the pictures that I see coming across the internet. They're saying she's a racist. Somebody put in the chat, you know, was she a racist? I know she's got Playboy Cardi on the album. She's got JT and she got JT and Young Miami on the album too. And she sampled a lot of hip hop records on the joint. So she got Playboy Cardi, Lil Nas X, JT, Young Miami, Drake. She might be a culture vulture, but I don't know much about it. So tell me in the chat what she did and how she a racist. We got Mad Max in the building too.
I don't know much about her. You know, I don't.
It's according to hip hop, not according to pop. I only referenced her because Drake jumped on her joints this weekend. But
well, you know,
I don't know. Let us know in the chat what she did so we can get the knowledge. Mad Max, what's good, brother?
What's good, my G?
Yo, what's good? Ron, you gotta stop with Lotto, bro. She's not it, bro. Cut it out.
Give me till next week, Mad Max. I'm gonna make a compelling argument, and I'm gonna convince you.
There's no compelling argument. She's not it, man.
I'm going.
She put a diss record out on Ice Spice, and the diss record flopped. We don't care about Lotto, bro. We don't care. Sunday Service flop. Did she just have a remix for it? Who's playing that? Nobody.
Yeah. She's nice to look at, man. She's nice to look. Lotto, you hit the lotto. She's nice to look at. Man.
But all them girls is nice to look at, Leroy. Come on, man. They're all nice to look at.
Give me till next week, man. I've been a little distracted. I gotta get some notes. Give me till next week, and I'm gonna come together with some Lotto. I'm gonna come with a compelling argument. I'm gonna convince Mad Max that Lotto is the future. How about that?
I think Lotto is one of those girls that, because she has a certain flow that people can tolerate, they overrate everything she do. Her lyrics aren't that good. Her songs do not be that good. The beats she picked don't even be unique. I don't really see the hype for Lotto, other than the flow that she uses to rap, where it's a more conventional, I can rap flow. But other than that, she's not even, like, to me, Glorilla's way better than her. I think JT's better than her. I think Ice Spice is better than Lotto. I don't even say nothing.
You lost that one. Ice Spice.
Lotto said on Sunday Service, I got ice boiling though. Is that supposed to be a diss? That's supposed to be the shot, the diss? I'm sorry, she don't say nothing to me. They all don't really say nothing much. But if I'm looking at who got style, grace on
Style.
these, who
It's
who
style.
got the most style,
It's
I'm
style.
I'm talking.
Yeah, like Wayne got Missy. Wayne got Missy in his top 5. That's a style. With the ladies, they go in style right now. So it's like she may not be saying a whole lot. Let me fix my camera, man. But
Lotto's always gonna be one hit away. You
yes,
know, that's why you can't count her out. She's always one hit away. I feel like her last go, she kind of mixed up the pop bag because she had a smash that blew, put Mariah on it, you know, the fantasy sample. So that, you know, the getting out of that pop, the hip hop bag, she has to kind of focus on one thing. I mean, you can do both, but you're still fairly a new artist to people. To where, you know, we want to still hear you be consistent with your music, but I always say Lotto is one hit away. Ice Spice, the fact that you brought her up, I think her train is kind of passing, man. That hype for that new project is not there like it was for her beforehand. And I think that when you're a novelty artist like Ice Spice, that's gonna be microwavable. That's gonna come and go. I feel like the respect that other female artists have for Lotto and the ability that she knows how to make a hit, she'll be around longer than Ice Spice, and she's always gonna be one hit away.
Ice Spice hit a peak that Lotto never hit. Lotto's been outside for like 8 years now.
Ice
I
Spice
don't know what she really
wave.
does.
Ice Spice hit a peak riding a wave that, like I said, it's a novelty act. New York drill. That's gonna come and go. It's for her. It's like once you get out of that New York drill, what else are you gonna do? What is your bag? Can you really rap? We know that Lotto can go and be versatile. Can Ice Spice go and be versatile? I can't
Well,
tell you that.
well,
So
Ice Spice just had a song where she sounded like Nicki though. She
I
sounded
think
like Nicki on one of them joints. She
Ice
rapping like Nicki. So.
Ice Spice can hold her own. She's been around long enough to where if she has to hold her own, I feel she could do that.
But it's not even just about Ice Spice. It's just more of a Lotto thing. I don't feel it with. I feel like Lotto. She gets
Lotto,
off with
she
being
in hip
low
hop.
key pretty, but she's not. Like she's pretty and she got a nice little flow, but it's very like we've heard that shit before. The girls heard it before.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Glorilla is the best one. She's the
I
best
agree.
one out of all the
I
females.
think Glorilla is on top of the game right now, and even Sexy Red. And I'm not even gonna say Sexy Red is the best lyricist, but as far as holding it down for female rappers right now, it's Sexy Red and it's Glorilla. However you want to put one or two on top, but I'm telling you, man, that Ice Spice train is done, bro. Like if this album doesn't do anything, she's out of there. Like her core fans are still gonna listen to her, but that hype train is gone, bro. Like that
but
stuff. Ice Spice,
fans listen, if the core fans listen, then she won. She doesn't need everybody to like her. She just needs the core fans. You know what I mean? If she gets the core fans, she won.
we see female rappers or we see rappers in general come and go. I feel like Ice Spice is going to be one of them. I don't think she has the ability to stand the test of time or the longevity as an artist.
I'm tired of the hits. You don't need hits to get me no more. Just make something dope. Everybody chasing hits, that's a different game. Like again, I'm talking about music tonight that just the artist is doing what they want. They're not trying to chase a hit. I don't give a fuck about a hit. They just doing what they want. Period.
What's the difference between Sexy Red and Ice Spice? Because Sexy Red is basically the female Black Truman Show.
Oh, I could tell you
she's ridiculous right now.
I could tell you what the big difference is authenticity. When people feel like they can relate to you, they're gonna listen to whatever you put out. Sexy Red stuff sonically is not great, but being that she comes from that space that women feel like they can relate, she a hood chick. Everybody like her as far as the artist she's aligning herself to. She's running around with Drake. She's being on wrestling. She's doing things that I feel is gonna keep her around, whether she makes music or she's just gonna be a face or whatever. She has that.
She's using the and yeah. I don't know her like that, and I don't listen to her music like that. But the hood chick, there's different levels of the hood chick. The hood chick that also went to law school, that also put herself through college, that also is a businesswoman. That's a hood chick. That's the same shit. So it's just what side of the hood chick are you showing?
But to me, Sexy Red has taken the hood chick persona and turn it into a cartoon character. She came out original with it, I guess, to a degree, but now it's becoming Truman Show-ish. It's not authentic no more. When you go into the White House, white man is giving you top on the, like, come on. She's doing too much with it now.
Yeah,
and I
can
think
agree
she's
with
more of a novelty than Ice Spice.
I can agree with you on the character of it, but throughout all of the exaggeration of character, there's still some authenticity there. You know, we have to admit that. I mean, it's kind of the reason when you think about it why a lot of the so-called ratchet female artists are not able to kind of do that no more, because when you get a real ratchet in there, it kind of shows you who are the ones that were just faking ratchet. And I think that's what helped Sexy Red. And then also she's backed by some by Gamma. And then she had the Drake cosign, and I think that did a lot for her existence as well in the music. I'm not going to say she makes the greatest music. It doesn't sonically sound good, but when I go into the club, that's what women want to listen to.
Amy Winehouse was ratchet. Amy Winehouse was ratchet from London, and there's drug addictions in London. That's a problem. So that's their version of ratchet. So Amy Winehouse was ratchet, but her music held a dynamic which paid respect to the classics of soul and jazz and rhythm and blues. So she was ratchet, but her music had a certain elegance to it and excellence to it. So you could be ratchet all you want, but let me hear something that speaks to the soul in the music. Amy Winehouse was ratchet on the London white girl side, but her music still had a soul in it that was undeniable. They're trying to get me go to rehab, and I said no, no, no. You know, it's all of that.
You're right. There's different levels of ratchet, because you can have Glorilla, you can have Meg, you can have Sexy Red. There's a difference between all them three when it comes to being ratchet. But what I could say is, like, the fact that people love Sexy Red is we kind of laughed her into being where she's at now, because at first people was looking at it as a joke, or it's funny at Pound Town. Okay, yeah, it's funny, all the girls singing this quote or whatever. And then she kept on making it until people kind of like start liking her. And it's kind of crazy how it happens. But that's the authenticity that I feel like you're not going to, as far as appreciation for that, for her, that I feel like you're not going to get for Ice Spice unless you're kind of like from the Bronx, you know, or from New York alone, and know what it's like to meet a chick from around away from up there. I kind of feel like it doesn't resonate outside of that, like a Lotto or Sexy Red or a JT or a Meg or a Glorilla, you know, and that's the difference.
I mean, but they don't really. I don't know. JT kind of resonates. JT's cool. Meg is cooked. We gotta be honest with Meg, man. She been riding the Glorilla train. She's cooked.
It's crazy though. There's a lot of Meg supporters though. She still has a solid. Her project just did over 1 million, like over 1 million in streaming. So somebody's listening. You know, like she has a solid following that I don't feel like her run is quite over.
I'll make a bop. If we had millions of dollars in our bank right now to go make a bop, we could do that. If we had millions to spend on that bop. So basically, you make your bop, then you pump millions through social media, we would all have a bop too. We could do that. That's not, but we just don't have the millions. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So I respect the game and all that. But Mad Max, did you hear the Lupe? What did you think of the Lupe? And Super Duper? You know what I mean? What up, my brother?
What's happening,
I didn't hear the Lupe yet, Leroy. I'm gonna get to that one. I didn't want to speak on that until I hear it.
Got you.
I heard the Lupe. I listened to the Lupe. I mean, I'm gonna give you your props, man. You did a great job with the breakdown and the review of the album, man. That's about the best thing going on the album for me. I mean, it's got about 1 or 2 tracks on there. I mean, Lupe is Lupe.
Yeah.
So I can't like it just depends on what you're really into, man. I'm not the type of guy that's into that coffee shop Barnes and Noble style of rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like I like my rap with a little bit more edge and a little bit more I mean, I don't even want to say meaning, but just more stylistically, like, lifestyle raps and stuff like that. I mean, Lupe is cool, but it's kind of boring, man. I don't know. Just because you broke that album down so great, man, I'm gonna give it another spin. I
broke it down for you. Give it another spin, man. But you got to get up and dance to it while you're listening. Get a 1-2 bop, 2-step, something, my brother.
Right. Let me super before you go. Let me get this super chat real quick. The L Web 100 says, "Let's keep it real. Ice Spice and Lotto look good, but I'd rather drink bleach shots and listen to their music." Dang. Go ahead, Super Duper.
I did like number one headband. I thought that was pretty fresh, and Bigfoot. I want to say, is that the name of it? Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those two tracks I could say like I liked them. I set them to a playlist at least. But
That's right.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Lupe fan. I don't want to be too negative on it until everybody get their chance to really dig into the album. But like I said, I mean, from first listen, it was some coffee shop music for me, man. It was pretty sleepy.
It was Barnes and Noble's joint. Super Duper.
It's definitely some Starbucks, Barnes and Noble style music, man.
Starbucks.
Man, Dean and DeLuca, the New York joint, the Dean and DeLuca joint, you know?
Yeah, straight up.
Yo,
Hey,
go ahead, Super Duper, hook up real quick.
No, I just wanted to say, they re-released Shaq's "You Can't Stop the Rain."
Yeah,
they did. And my guy Rob Bay, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He was saying about this Jay-Z, one of his favorite features. I think we had it on the Jay-Z and Nas feature show that me and Vay did. And he was telling me about that record that was kind of unreleased. The
unreleased Nas and Jay-Z. I guess it's supposed to be their first collab song that they. Yeah, but hey, man, shout out to Shaq, man. We got to put some respect on Shaq's name, man. Shaq was rapping up there with some giants in the game.
Nice.
Like, you got to go back and look at that album and look at the names. He got Biggie on there. He got Mobb Deep. He got Jay and Nas. Like Shaq was holding himself down, and he ain't no Rudy Poot on the mic. You know what I mean? Like Shaq, that album is borderline classic, especially coming from who it is. Coming from Shaq. You got to give that album a lot of credit. I know a lot of people will probably, sleep on it and probably laugh at the fact, and some of the younger people in the audience, I'm sure they have no idea that Shaq really was getting down like that. But Shaq had a super solid project.
Yeah, Shaq is a student, man, and he barred up. He barred up on them albums, man. So
that was the third album.
First,
that was the third album.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not what's the one with Biological Didn't Bother. That's not on there.
I don't even remember what the second album was. Was the first album Diesel?
It might have been Diesel. It might have been Diesel. But yeah, I ran through that because I listened to the Lupe, and then I seen that they had re-released that, and I listened to that whole album from front to back too. And I'm just like, I was really impressed with Shaq, man. Forget how dominant and superstar Shaq really was in his prime with the video games and the shoes and everything, man. Shaq was a straight up movement.
Yeah, I think Shaq goes down in history as one of the best athlete rappers of all time, man. There's a lot of athletes that tried and failed, and Shaq, I mean, like it or not, he went platinum, and he worked with the GOATs. He worked with Jay. He worked with Nas. He worked with Biggie. He worked with Mobb Deep. He got records, man. He even got stuff with legendary Slay. So Shaq wasn't a slouch on the mic at all, man. He was dope for real.
Shaq got to be considered one of the best NBA rappers of all time. Yeah. I mean, you got I ain't gonna lie, man. AI was a one. He had that one song, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. 40 bars, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't remember that.
40 bars was crazy. They made him stop rapping, but he was dope. They got Dame Dollars dope. Mm-hmm. Cedric Sabalas had an album out too. I think you have an album, you have a single. So Cedric Sabalas had some joints out. Chris Webber rapped. Who else was dope? Chris Webber was nice. He produced a little bit too.
Yeah, Metal World Peace. I mean, he produced, from my understanding.
I'm gonna just go out there and I'm gonna just go ahead and stamp it, man. Shaq is the greatest NBA rapper.
He's the greatest athlete rapper to me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey yo, and y'all might think it's corny, and I don't think it's corny because I think he had a Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J lane, and he didn't really get into it. I know Steve Stout said he was in a group when he was young, but Kobe could rap. Kobe could rap.
Stop, Ron. Stop.
Kobe could rap. Kobe could rap. Kobe could rap.
No.
I can hear. I hear talent. I have a gift. I can hear when people have the ability to do something. Kobe could rap. Stop. If I got in the studio with Kobe, we could have come out with a classic. I promise you.
Kobe had a nice little
I
voice,
promise you.
but
If
he
I
could
executive
not
produce,
rap. And that's my favorite basketball player. Kobe could not rap.
Yeah, I agree, man.
He sounded like he was trying too hard, to be honest with you.
He had no business rapping. Kobe had no business rapping. And that's my favorite player all time. He had no business rapping.
I'm not
Hey, but
surprised.
Tess was a better rapper than Kobe. Let's be for real, man.
yeah, I agree. Hey, but
It's the culture, man. We got basketball players that can rap. We got actors that can rap. It's black. The local guy at your grocery store, or at your neighborhood bank, or at the car, they all got bars too. We come just with skills. That's how we born like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised. Man. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
hey, for me, the album that stood out the hardest this weekend or this week is the Boldy James to me though. I did like Boldy is. It seemed like he get better every album. Like he seemed like he been rapping for a while. Boldy ain't no young buck. Like he been out for a little minute too. But he seemed like he just getting better and better and better as time goes on. And that's right now. That's the album that I'm playing consistently right now. I listened to it at least 3-4 times right now. So they did drop a little snippet first. So some of the songs came out like a couple of weeks ago, and now I guess they put the whole complete project out. But it's a fire album.
Hey, Super, did you get a chance to check out the Common and P Rock new joint?
Yeah, I listened to it. I heard it. I didn't get the chance to dive into it. I watched the video that they dropped on it though.
Okay. It sounds like you're not a big fan. It sounds like you ain't feeling.
No. I mean, it's nice. I'm still, it's just that seemed like more of a album track to me, but it's nice. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't.
It was dope.
It's nothing bad to say about it. I got nothing bad to say about it. It's a nice track. Nice track. I can't really, nothing, no complaints.
No doubt. As we wrap up, now we're not wrapping up. We got a few more minutes. I want to ask the panel. I'm gonna start around. Drake came back outside this weekend. He came back on a Pop Stars, who people in the chat have said is racist, a racist Pop Stars album. Camila Cabello. He got 2 joints on there. Is Drake done? It's seeming like it's looking bad for Drizzy out here right now. Is Drake finished?
He's not done.
Drake's not done, Ron. Come on, relax.
I mean, how done can he be?
Right. He's not done.
I mean, I'm just not hearing no. Normally Drake will have some bang. It's the summertime, and we about to get in the 4th of July weekend. I'm just checking the temperature out here, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. And these records he had One Gone Delilah, that joint.
People are tired of Drake. He's been on a long run. All he has to do is chill. They'll come back to him. The thing with Drake is, and this is the thing with Drake, right? The cesspool that he's in, that he's compared to, they're all whack. So you have to go back to him anyway. It doesn't matter if you think he's whack or not. Drake is always gonna give you one song that you like. Every Drake album has at least 1 or 2 songs that you like because he's mostly better than the entire field. His whole contemporaries, either they don't drop or they just garbage. That's why he's been able to run hip hop for this long. Drake is Mace on a super long run, and there's no DMX to run him out. That's just a fact. So
Mad Max said it. Drake is Mace on a super long run. Like if Mace really wanted to just run it from 97 to whenever, Mace could have did that.
I'm just saying. I'm just checking the temperature, guys. I'm not normally.
I mean, Ron, was Drake ever a thing for you?
No, not for me.
Okay, so listen, I bring that up to say this. For his fan base, no, he not done. He might be cooked to guys like us that really, I go out, I hear him in the club, I hear him when I go out, but I've never in my life got in my car and turned on a Drake song ever in my whole life.
Me neither.
So I hear him on the radio. I hear his music passing by where I'm out. But for me, he was never a thing to be done with him with. I was never really on the wagon. You know what I'm saying?
I was on that comeback season, Drake, man. That was different. You know what I mean?
But
before the store closed, she blow the fee in the last 4 shows. I did one song. I used 4 flows. Like, baby, those are cute. I adore those. Me and the salesman build a rapport so he understands the fact I spend offshore dough. Like, Drake was different, man. Drake was.
Hey, but listen to what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
females, his core fan base, they don't care about this Kendrick Lamar beef. They just out dancing to a song. They're not even caring too much about this. His image might have took a little hit, but as soon as he come back with something that they like, he'll be Drake again. I don't think that it's not gonna be over for him, man.
For,
He don't
for,
have like that type of hardcore hip hop fan base that would that's just gonna throw him in the garbage.
for Drake to be over, somebody has to come around like a DMX did when Mace was outside to completely take him out the game. See,
Right.
it's not about Drake losing a battle or it's in people's minds. The battle doesn't matter because even when Hove lost to quote unquote Nas, Hove was still Hove because nobody else came around. Well, that's not true because 50 did come outside and he made Hove retire. But if 50 doesn't come outside, Hove would still be running shit. It doesn't matter because we care about the music. The battle is a battle. That's a moment in time. But the music carries on. Drake is gonna be okay because there's nobody talented enough in his peer group or in the upcoming horizon that we see that can move him off the spot. He's always gonna eventually be back as the king. He's just not favored right now. It's cool.
There you go. There you go. Hove never retired. He dropped the Black album, then he dropped 2 R. Kelly albums, then he dropped a Clash album with Linkin Park, then he dropped Kingdom Come, then American Gangster. That whole retirement talk was just to fill the seats in the arena. Surprise.
That man knew 50 was coming though. Let's not do that, Leroy. He knew about 50.
50 what, man? He saw 50. When 50 walked up to him, he said, "Hey, what's up?" He said, I heard that song called How to Rob. He said, what's cracking? He was standing right in front of 50.
2003, 50 was a different level, Leroy. We're not doing that.
50
2003, 50?
I heard How to Rob. 50, what it do? 50 shook his hand and said, "Hey, man, I respect you." He said, "Okay, well, good, I respect you." They kept it pushing. It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? But Jay, but respect to 50 though too. Both were giants in the game. So,
But yeah, as far as your question though, Ron, no, Drake's not done, man. He don't have that type of fan base that will be done with him.
I mean, they let Drake live after blackface. I mean, come on. Once you saw the Pusha T thing was real, I'll give you my opinion on the Pusha T thing, right? When I first saw that, I was like, that can't be real. Then when niggas was telling me that shit was real, I was like, he better give me an explanation, or I'm gonna have to murder him because that's crazy. He gave me the explanation. I let it slide. But he survived blackface. You don't survive blackface, Ron, and then say that a dude is over because of the Kendrick stuff. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
He survived the N-word. He's surviving the N-word.
Drake survived the Pusha stuff just because of popularity. I mean, Pusha's still considered underground to certain people and not the mainstream appeal. So he was going to survive it no matter. It was a chink in his armor, but you seen he was an album back in and everybody forgot. The Kendrick thing has a different measurement to it because Kendrick is like damn near on the same level as far as popularity in Drake. I mean, when we're keeping it hip hop, we're not talking about his pop audience. We're talking about hip hop. You have 2 heavyweights in the industry, and then there was a hit that came from it. It's no different from when Back to Back came out from me. You have Not Like Us. That is a monster right now. Whenever you have a beef and you are able to produce a hit from that's played in the clubs and beyond that when you're not even thinking about the beef, but it's still a beef record, you're always gonna win in that sense. But because he has such a core audience, man, Drake's not going nowhere, man. Like,
but
it's kind of crazy to hear people saying Drake is done.
Drake. The Pusha T thing was the reason why Drake lived the Pusha T thing was because Scorpion. At least that side A of Scorpion. That shit was so fire. The side A, just the hip hop part. People kind of like, all right, we're gonna let him get the pass. So he does need to his next project. He needs to get in that side A of Scorpion bag. Because it might get spooky for him, but I don't think he's done.
Right.
He just need to make good music.
The Scorpion bag was basically like Okay, y'all say I took a L, great. Like I'm not tripping. Like that's what the scorpion bag was like. Like all you got to do is come back. Like, oh, I took a L. I'm not tripping. Like people take L's every day. So I just took a L. Okay. So what does that mean? I took a L on Monday. So what about Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't
The
get
only,
food, man. So it's like he's always one hit away. Like
Yeah.
he has a core fan base that's going to support whatever he does, and he still has a large female following. He's always going to be one hit away. I'm not the biggest Drake advocate, but one thing I could say is he's not going anywhere. I don't think that. I think right now it's Kendrick's moment, and people gotta just respect it. It's the West Coast moment at that. But Drake's not done. That sounds crazy to even hear that. And I don't think honestly it would be good for hip hop overall if Drake was done. If we just really want to keep it a stack, it's not good for hip hop if he was finished because he did provide a soundtrack to us for like damn near 10 years. So it's like we, in some capacity, we still need him in the game. But what we need for him is to get back to making good music and not this microwavable, appealing to the younger crowd music. Like, hey man, make age. Like when I listen to 444 from Jay, I'm like, that's his age appropriate music. I'm not saying be an old dude in your music, but man, grow with your music. And that's the only thing I feel that I'm lacking from Drake is we haven't seen him grow with his music. It's just the constant pleasing of his bass, the constant leeching on to whoever's hot at the moment and getting their bass and keeping it young. There's no reason why I should see you collabing with Sexy Red and running around with her, man. Just make good music, man. Keep
yeah, but yeah, only thing that I could say that could possibly finish Drake is if Kendrick released those other 5 songs that he had when he said that he had 10, and if they bangers and they really bangers and he go at Drake, if he going at Drake and they really bangers, that's the only thing. But I don't think that we'll ever probably hear those other 5 songs anyway, unless they just get leaked or come back out another time, or if Drake try to start the beef again.
I'm
Well,
not.
then, if we're not gonna hear them 5 songs, Super Duper, we're gonna hear 5 more songs because the video is about to come out. So
The video coming out on July 4th, Ron.
I thought about that. He had to pop out on Juneteenth. He gonna put the Not Like Us video out on July 4th.
I hope he surprises us and it's a remix.
I told y'all though when we was watching the concert, right, that if I was Kendrick, I would just keep my foot on Drake's neck and just keep dissing him anyway. I would just go all out with just to do it.
Kendrick's
Like,
not
I would
do it, though.
I would just keep on doubling down, man. Make that Do Not Like Us the remix. Everybody else on there on stage, hot West Coast artists, have them on it. Like, make this a moment for you for real. Like, keep the foot on the neck. I don't know if I want to hear more disses, but just keep on just keep on giving us hot music, man. That's what we want.
That's a dangerous slope making a remix of that song, though. Drake could feel away because it was me and somebody did a remix. Oh, I don't care if you have 5 or 10 more diss records. I'm disrespecting your loved ones, your dead homies, all that. We can get it back popping. You ain't gonna just make a remix with other niggas on it. Cause I'm already looking at DeMar DeRozan and niggas like that. Like you was on that stage dancing.
With J Rock, Absol. If you get Schoolboy Q on it too, get YG. You can have a whole party. Get the game. The game. He ain't gonna do that.
I mean, it's already gotten crazy. I mean, when I seen the pop out concert and I seen all of that, that was damn near worse than seeing like somebody get put on the Summer Jam screen. It's like I feel like that was like the icing on the cake. If you remix that, man.
Hey fellas, I gotta get up out of here, y'all. But yeah, good show, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man, for sure.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate you, Super Duper.
Yeah, for sure, Ron. Appreciate it.
No doubt, but I mean, I want to see an album, but hopefully that'll be coming out in the next coming days. If it don't come out by the kids go back to school and you got the HBCU marching band season and ain't no record out, that's gonna be a missed opportunity. So you got to put out a record right now to cap because J. Cole coming in the fall for the fall off, so that's coming. That's coming. So you gotta beat J. Cole to the punch.
He's not dropping an album this year, Ron. He's gonna wait till next year. He's gonna wait till next year. He's not dropping an album this year, bro.
Well, damn. Okay. That's disappointing.
Why would you drop an album?
Why not?
Why not? You got to capitalize on the moment.
Yeah, You don't. How can you build up to this momentum again next year?
Because he's Kendrick Lamar.
I mean, granted, yes, whenever he drops, everybody's gonna go listen to him, but you're not gonna get any bigger than this moment right now, man. You don't even have to mention Drake at all. Just give us a nice fire project.
I think Kendrick should go listen to the Marsha Ambrosia album, go into Dr. Dre's album, pull Marsha in the studio and say, okay, we're all three of us are here. Let's make something. You know
I think it's actually going to be like crazier. I think it's going to be like if Kendrick's going to go in there, he's going to give us something that we didn't get from him yet. And that's a real West Coast album. I mean, Guilt Kid, Mad City, it was relative to the idea of growing up on that side and where he's from, but we want he hasn't given us a real West Coast album, real bops, those West Coast features heavy. I feel like that's the only thing that's missing out of all those albums is a real solid West Coast album. And I think
I tell Dre, let me hear that Snoop Dogg Missionary album, Dre. I know you got that. Let me hear that. You know what I mean? And he let me hear the Snoop Missionary. I know y'all got some heat in the tuck. And after I hear that, I'll be like, okay, now bring Marsha in here. And I go crazy. The West Coast, you know, if he got on some classic West Coast, the G-Funk, the old classic Parliament funk, the old school West, he
did that on Pimp a Butterfly a little bit. That was really G-Funk, like heavily influenced. But I'm talking about like all elements of what that old school hip-hop, West Coast hip-hop was. Like all of those. And you have features from YG, like Unification, like it was on that stage. You have those artists on there. Right. Man, I mean, you probably have album of the year.
The West Coast is fusion up, and now the lyrical heads is stepping up too. And yes. you got lyricism coming back in the West too. So it's not just the sound of the music; they barring up too now. So
the crazy thing is, they never lost in lyricism though. Like that's always been there on the West Coast. It's just people drown the West Coast out so much. There's always been lyrical West Coast artists, the Corrupts, the Exhibits. You know, I'm like they've always been around. It's just that the West Coast gets they get so much
factor
overcast on them. Like to be honest, West Coast have never lost a battle.
No, it's gang culture. We're not losing no battles.
Yeah, they never lose battles. Like the West Coast is when you ever had a top tier West Coast artist, they always kind of had their moment where they were running things. And I feel like there needs to be more respect on West Coast artists because there are a lot of lyrical artists that comes from the West Coast that I feel don't get their just due.
The West Coast, for all that they do on the West Coast, we not gonna act like they haven't evolved their own sonics since the 90s. We're not gonna do that. Their sonics have been the same sonics since the 90s. New York could never get away with it. West Coast is the only region who get away with that.
I can't really agree with that because you have too many elements to West Coast music. You have the Bay Area sound and you have the LA sound, and they're nothing alike. I mean, they have fused throughout the years with DJ Mustard or whatnot, but let's not act like YG didn't give us a classic first album. Let's not act like Game doesn't have a great catalog. I mean, what he does outside of music may drown that out, but if you go back and look at Game's catalog, Game has a hell of a catalog. If you go back and listen to Corrupt and what he did with Dog Pound and his lyricism, or you listen to Kendrick or Schoolboy Q's or Tyler the Creator. Come on, people forget he's from the West Coast too. You know, like if you really listen to them, they still are the one region that I say that still has that idea of what hip hop fundamentals are besides, you know, your boom bap New York enthusiasts. But
the state is too big, man. California is a big state. So
they all make the same album though. When you listen to a West Coast album, it's basically the Niggas for Life album redone. A lot of skits, a lot of voice messages, a lot of that funky G-Funk. They all sprinkle all that stuff in the same album.
Did you listen to the last Schoolboy Q album?
I thought the last Schoolboy Q album was trash.
Oh wow! Okay, all right.
I've never listened to that again.
Anytime Alchemist and Crooked Eye could come outside, that's the West Coast. That's the West Coast. If Alchemist and Crooked Eye come outside, that's
Crooked Eye is different though. He's the one. Right, when you say Crooked Eye, he's different from the rest of them because he kind of doesn't do what the rest of the West Coast do. Crooked Eye is on some. I'm on a hieroglyphic alien superpower. You know, he's on some other timing.
Y'all need to try to kill. Y'all need to talk to Crooked Eye, DM him, and tell him to let me on the Good versus Evil Part 3. You know what I mean?
It's busy.
He was like, I'm gonna think about it. So y'all hit him up, tell him don't think about it. Let me on there.
Yo, before we wrap up, man, good show tonight, fellas. I want to put a poll out. We're doing these weekend rhymes. Let us know if you want us to cook up on Saturdays or Sundays. Which day did you prefer? Some people say Sundays, some people say Saturdays. We might have to adjust it when football season starts, man. We might just go on Fridays because I'm out of pocket when football season starts, man. I'm going on my college football tour, my NFL tour, so I'm gonna be out of pocket. So I'm going to be on the road. So let us know.
Friday or Saturday.
We may cook up tomorrow too, man. But this is a good first show. I'm gonna go around the panel real quick. Servan, great first show, man. Mad Max, what's your final thoughts, man? Let's close it out.
My final thoughts is the females are running the game and they're not even that nice.
Hey, but next week I will have my notes ready. I'm gonna prove to you, Mad Max. I'm gonna make you a believer that Lotto is that one. Next week. Stay tuned for that.
All right.
We'll see.
Servan, what's your final thoughts, brother?
I just need new music. I need good music. I need consistent good music to come out. I feel like we're missing that right now, and I just need artists to really get back to creating and being original and getting their bags and just creating good music. That's all, man. We're missing consistent good music right now. I don't care what region you're from or if you're female or male. Just give me good music, man. It's lacking, and there's a critical need for it right now.
No doubt, man. Good first show, man. We enjoyed having you on, man. Shout out to the folks in Jacksonville. I know the rap community lost. I don't know what the city temperature is like with Coolio Fulio losing his life, transitioning last week. I know he was a Jacksonville artist. So, hopefully the kids out there will kind of calm down and stop all this needless violence, man. Too many people losing their lives.
That's outside my reach, brother. I don't speak on those matters.
I understand, but we just want to make sure. We want to make sure it's all peaceful everywhere, man. Too, we shouldn't lose our life over music, man. But anyway, Leroy Green, man. Final thoughts.
Well, losing our lives over the music, right? So when they talk about nerd rap or backpack rap, I think is a cool title because what do we put in backpacks? We put books, notebooks, writing utensils, calculators, a lunch. So that type of music is about arming the people for adversity. So when you listen to a Lupe Fiasco, it's about doing that. Now, normally I would talk to you about lyricism, but when you listen to the Lupe, I just want you to listen to the music, right? We talk about good music. So when y'all put on the Lupe album, don't even trip on the lyrics. Just trip on just the music. Just bop with the music. That's all. And if you could do that, then the weekend. That's it. You got me, Ron. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Lupe, he did his thing, but with this music, with this album, Samurai, I think it's purely about the music. So if it's about good music, that's the Snoop Dogg factor. Snoop Dogg's discography is dangerous because of the music, the contrast of lyrics with the music. So bop with the music, man. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm on this Marsha though, man. I'm really liking that and the sound of that. I like that Marsha right now. But I need some hip hop. I need some good music as far as rap out there.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yo, this is the Weekend Rhyme. It's your boy Ron. This is Siobhan, Leroy Green, Mad Max, man. We appreciate you, man, dialing in with us on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mike's got a new lesson next week. And Ron Vay and I tapping in finally gonna have that hip-hop movie episode, best movies, best actors, best actresses, best directors, best soundtracks. That's coming next week, right around the 4th of July. Have a good weekend, y'all. And as always, it's the Weekend Rhyme. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace, y'all. See y'all next time, man.